Happy Thursday. I'm Sarah Curto, Career Management Specialist, aka Career Coach, and welcome to my weekly Discover Your Career Q&A session. I'm here every Thursday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time to answer your questions about career changes, career development, and job searches. So I've had a lot of questions recently. Well, I wouldn't even say questions. It's concerns with my clients, from you, from readers of my newsletter, that all kind of circle on the same thing. And it's how to survive the December, and it's kind of started really early, job search. So I want to get into that, but first up, some updates. I sent out in my newsletter last week, and I posted about it on Friday, that as of December 14th, I will not be doing any more resume, cover letter, LinkedIn profiles until the new year. And the purpose of that is starting December 21st, I'll be on holidays. So I want to ensure that we have time to complete those documents. I said that I would look at accepting 4 to 6 clients. I've heard some great feedback on that. So I only have about 3 available for the next 2 weeks. One session available for next week, 2 sessions for the marketing documents on the week after. And also for the interview and training, I will do that all the way up to the 21st, only looking at about 2 to 4. Now I'm probably only looking at about 2 sessions. So if you need some training on interviews that are coming up, phone interviews or face-to-face, or on networking, feel free to reach out and we'll get that scheduled to secure your spot so you're ready for January. I don't know if anyone actually knows this. I've never actually told people. It's on my website, but I do have an interview ebook. I should maybe, promote it a little bit more. I'm bad at that. I wrote this, it's 20 pages. It's pretty much everything you need to know about the interview. And so I do have that available. So if I do fill up, or you just feel like you need just an e-guide, you don't need some customized training and coaching on it, that is $45. I'll put a link to it below. So the December job search survival guide. Now, how I know when this is something you need to think about, there's a few indicators. And this is the things and conversations I've had over the last week that have really prompted me, even the last 2 weeks, that have really prompted me to do this today. Questions like, I sent in an application 2 weeks ago and I haven't heard anything. What did I do wrong? I had a phone interview and I haven't heard anything. So I keep going through to figure out what I did wrong in that phone interview to find out why. I had an IT test. This technology test is common for IT positions. And I think I did okay. I'm not too sure. I keep going through the answers one by one. I don't really want the job, but I want to see what I could do better in case I decide I want the job. Where all of that is over analysis of every piece of the job search. And the reason why you're doing it is because you are feeling overwhelmed, disheartened, stressed out, rejected, and you want to figure out why. But it's also an indicator to me as a career coach that you're not taking care of yourself in terms of your mental and positive health. That needs to be your number one in a job search. And I've talked about this before. I will talk about this again. This is one of the biggest things that not enough career coaches talk about, that I'm a big believer in. So get used to it. And the other things that I've been hearing is, especially with the weather being so gloomy this past fall and already entering into a gloomy winter. Jennifer in California, I don't know what your weather, I'm not even too sure where in California, how impacted you were by the fires. But here in the Greater Toronto area in Canada, it's been, we haven't seen the sun much. So that already leads to a dip in your feelings in terms of the onset of maybe seasonal affective disorder or some depression. And coupled with a job search, it makes it really tough. So those are the other conversations I've been having about, I'm just feeling really down in the dumps. I'm just finding it hard to wake up in the morning and pick myself up and get back on those job boards. So all the things I want to talk about in this sort of December job search survival guide is dealing with the overanalysis and those feelings of depression, of I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy enough, I'm too stressed out, none of this is working. So the first thing to do is to take care of your health. Okay, this will give you a focus. Never mind give you all the other great things. Especially if you look at my success series about relaxing, moving, sleeping, and eating for your success, not just for your health. Those are some key things that you can do to make sure that you're on that sort of path. So the first three things I really like to think about is sleep. I know I talk about sleep all the time, but getting those 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night. Moving your body. I'm struggling with this weather and with the to-do list that seems to be never ending. But whenever I'm feeling like that tiredness, the fatigue that sets in when you're feeling overwhelmed, just the thought of doing anything, even going for a walk can seem overwhelming. But I know when I push through those feelings and I go for that walk or run or whatever, sort of just talk myself into whatever, I come back feeling so much more energized and so much more ready to take on the world. And I believe that most of us feel that way, that taking that 10 minutes, 15 minutes, ideally 30 minutes to move our body will actually make us more energized instead of the fatigue. It'll sort of lift that feeling of tiredness away. And the other thing is eating healthy. And this is hard. We're approaching cookie season, eggnog season, Christmas party season, drinking season. Which is fine. I big believer in having a cookie every day in December, but ensuring that you're balancing that off with a lot of healthy, real food, like things you cook yourself, fruits and vegetables and all of that. Jennifer's answering about the fires in the Bay Area. I'd heard about that, you couldn't go outside at all in the masks. I have friends out there and they went to Tahoe to get away with it, but with a bad cold. Yeah, that just makes it worse. And so even when we're struggling with really bad weather, in terms of the movement, going back to that, even having a dance party, turning on some great music with the kids or by yourself, whatever gets you moving, to get that you re-energized and to get that sort of fatigue that sets in when you're feeling too stressed out and when you're feeling a little depressed, that would definitely help out. Okay, so the three things about staying healthy are the sleep, the moving your body, and the eating. Being prepared. That's another way to handle sort of the December job search survival. And things like making sure your resume and cover letter, that sort of foundational pieces are set, so that it saves you time. So every time you see a job posting, you're not spending hours trying to get it perfect. You're spending 10 to 15 minutes, maybe 20, 25 minutes for a job you really want, to sort of tweak it, but the foundational is set. Planning your week. So using my Discover your dream career planner to help you plan your week and then plan your day to make sure where you're focusing your time is where you should be focusing it. And so that you're setting goals, okay? The other thing you can do in sort of the being prepared is engage with people. The thing with a job search is it's very isolating. Like if you think about it, your inclination is to sit at the computer and go through Indeed, go through LinkedIn, go through all the different job boards to find jobs, and then to go onto your resume and cover letter, and then spend how many whatever hours tweaking that, going on LinkedIn. It's very by yourself on the computer. Not always super healthy. Okay, so engage with people. And my favorite thing to do for engaging with people, shocker, is networking. Because not only will it sort of get you in talking to people again, it will also improve your ability to sell yourself. And you're getting advocates who are helping you in your job search, who are out there helping you find jobs. So it's sort of like a win-win-win situation, this engaging with other people. The other thing I always recommend is, okay, I'm going to back up here. When you're spending most of your job search on job boards, paused there. When you're spending most of your job search on job boards, you are it doesn't feel good because you're sending your resume into the black hole. You don't hear a lot of the time, especially in December, because it is the slow hiring season. So it takes a lot longer for any feedback to get back to you. You start to feel super rejected. And when you do that at home, those associations stay at the home, which means that even when you're not doing a job board, those feelings of I'm not worth it, those feelings of no one's going to hire me, fills the home. I know it sounds like super airy-fairy, but it's true. And so you're more likely then to slip deeper into those feelings when you do all of the worst part of the job search at home. So what I did when I was first laid off, and I started to notice that pattern of these things sort of creeping in my days getting not fun anymore, is one of the things I did was I took the job board aspect of my job search out of the house. So I would go to Starbucks. Most of the time I actually went to the library because I love the library. And so then I was making it a more enjoyable experience. And those feelings tended to stay outside of the house. So I wasn't getting lost in those negative feelings as much. And you're surrounding yourself with people. Even that little bit of engagement of buying a coffee from the barista. I don't know about your Starbucks, but my Starbucks people are always talking to me or talking to each other. So there is that little bit of community there that at least it sort of gets you out of the house, gets you out of your head. So that's one of the things, the engaging with people, that is key. And so in terms of the being prepared, to back that up, want to make sure resume and cover letter are set and ready to go. So it's just an easy peasy tweaks. Planning your week by using the Dream Career Planner, and I'll link to that below so that you can set up yourself up for some small little victories and wins, and then engaging with people. Now then, the other thing that I noticed with myself when I was going through that time is when I did some reflection, I was treating the job search like a full-time job because that's what I had been told. And honestly, why did I do that? And I understand that everyone tells you that. You're going to hear it all the time. But the thing is there is very few jobs as unrewarding as a job search. So you're marrying yourself to this position of the job search that doesn't really give you much. And you're doing 30 to 40 hours a week. Of course, your feelings of stress and self-esteem, stress is going to skyrocket, self-esteem is going to plummet, of course. To me, a job search is like a part-time full-time job, 10 to 25 hours a week. And 25 hours a week are those peak weeks where you happen to have a lot of networking meetings and interviews, or maybe there's a networking event or two or a conference. But I think narrowing your focus, narrowing the amount of work you put in, and doing a lot of that preparatory work allows you to be more efficient with your time so that you have more time to be happy. And one thing that I would spend a little bit of time, and anytime I'm sort of feeling a little down, is I really focus on that gratitude practice. So being thankful for 3 things, like every day. One thing is if you had a toxic last position, toxic last boss, a bad relationship with anyone, your last year or so or whatever in a job just wasn't going well, and you have overwhelmingly negative feelings about it, which is common, very, very common. The problem is that seeps into all of your conversations about that job, all of your conversations about that boss or colleague. So take one of those gratitudes, one of the 3, and devote it. You're thankful for blank from your previous role or from your previous manager, something you are thankful for. So you can start rewriting that script just temporarily while you're searching for a new job so that you can sell that stuff full-heartedly instead of half-heartedly, which is what I would always see. Find another way to be happy during the sort of horribleness of the December job search is find joy every day. So whether that is eating a cookie or making Christmas cookies or going for a walk on days where it has just snowed, or going to walk around the mall with a hot cup of hot chocolate or something. Something that, especially if you're searching for a job, something you can't do when you are in a full-time job, so that you are appreciative of this time instead of resenting this time. Okay, it's really hard to do. But the goal for me when I say all this is I want you to look back on the job search and think of it as kind of like a great time, a great 6 weeks of your life or 3 months of your life or a year of your life. Job searches are different for every single person. But if you have that little bit of joy, and it doesn't have to be expensive, it doesn't have to be timely or time consuming, just allows you to sort of flip the script on the job search. The other thing is focus on you. So this sort of goes in with the plan, with the Dream Career Planner. It's finding little wins. It also kind of focuses on the engaging with people. The thing I like about networking is it allows you to have little wins. You need to stop counting wins on interviews. Because I know for most individuals, when you first start on a job search, your success is completely tied to how many interviews you get. And then as you progress in that job search, your success hinges completely on the job offer. And yes, those are worthy goals. Those are the ultimate goals. I get that. But you need little wins to get you through the valleys of the job search, because there are valleys. No matter how short, even if it's a 3-week job search, there's going to be valleys. And so setting yourself up for success with many wins, such as setting a goal for yourself to reach out to 5 people you don't know this week. Counting it as a success when you have a good networking meeting, or your reference reaches out to let you know about a job that they heard about. Celebrating all those little things that will amount to those interviews and that will amount to those job offers is a great way to keep your spirits up and to be happy about it all. Okay, and I know December is the toughest because it is the slowest job search. So before I jump into sort of that, let me just recap the 9 things I suggested to you today. I've also written an article about this, so I will link to that. So the first is being healthy, taking care of your health by sleeping, by moving, and by eating right. And then it's about being prepared. by having your resume and cover letter sort of set as a foundational document that you can easily tweak, coming up with a plan of action using the Dream Career Planner, and then the engaging with people. So getting out of the house for your job search and taking action on your networking strategy, or even making one in the first place. And then it's being happy. So being thankful for all the things that your toxic previous places of work or managers have maybe given to you, even if it's just one thing, but everything else, being grateful for everything else that's going on in your life. Finding joy every single day, a little thing just for you. And then celebrating your wins, focusing on the little things that you've done. All of this will help you get through. So what I've noticed with the December job search is the December slowdown, I should say, is it started early. Seems it started about mid-November, when I have seen through my clients that things have slowed down a little bit. So feedback is happening. Phone interviews and interviews are happening. It just means it's a little bit slower before you're getting those calls. So you need to understand that the month of December kind of is like 1 week in the job search world. And then the 1 week in the job search world. And so the fact that it's kind of like 6 weeks long is probably about 2 weeks in the job search world, which is, when you need a job, horribly depressing. Which is why it's so important that you take note of these 9 things to really help you stay inspired and to keep moving. If you are currently working, it could be a time where you take a break from your job search. And if you're not currently working, it's time to really be targeted in your work. It's a great time to do some networking. Maybe the recruiters have slowed down, but it also means that I've always found, especially when people you don't know, people are more generous with their time and their information and advice because it's that time of year. And because it's that time of year where they're out and about a little bit more, interacting, kind of stepping out of their job just a little bit, it also makes them more likely to respond to yes to any sort of informational interview request. So it's a good time to really spend that 70% of your time on those sort of networking activities. Okay. And if you need a shoulder to cry on, a pep talk, a little strategy talk, I have my Discover Your Career strategy calls. Those are free consults, so feel free to reach out to me to talk about that. I'm not pausing my career coaching. I am taking about 2 weeks holidays, but I will be seeing some clients that I do one-on-one career coaching with over that time. So at any point in time, you can still connect with me for that. 3 more spots for resume, cover letter, and LinkedIn. And 2 more spots, maybe 1, for the interviewing and networking training sessions, probably 2. And that's it. I will see you next week. Let me know. What can I help you with? Happy hunting, everybody. Take care.